like, today, there's no, like, you look at the Premier League, it's lopsided, you know what I mean? You look at AFL, they've got draft picks or whatever, I'm not touching into that, you know a team's going to be crap.
Well, we know Carlton's not going to win the comp this year.
Exactly.
But you can almost say that every NRL team has a chance of making the top 4 at this point.
Exactly. James Maloney, where's Cameron Smith? Where are they at the moment?
Well, they're not speaking up in defence of their fellow union members. Thank you, Mark. Hello, Hugh.
Hey, guys. So going on with the previous calls and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think that, regardless if you think that what Dylan Napa or Todd Carney or all those players that may have done things wrong and when their things got leaked, there should be, and there always has been, an unwritten rule that if you send some stuff between the boys, it stays between the boys. You know, whoever this scum person is that's just let out all these videos, he should be the one that...
No question. No question. There's a bloke that's being identified on Facebook as potentially being as part of all this as well. He's apparently a disgruntled Roosters fan. But I agree, there's obviously somebody who's in the playing circle that's involved in this, and they should be punished as well. But the issue is broadly the damage that's being done to the image of what is a multi-billion-dollar game, not just by this particular issue, but we've had 5 off-field incidents in the past week in rugby league. Now, we haven't had that in AFL. We haven't had that in rugby union.
But you can't say that those people, like the players in rugby union and the AFL, aren't doing similar things to this.
Then why does it always come out in rugby league? You know, why was it on the weekend we were reporting that members of the club that I love were involved in a fracas at a sailing club? Why is it that we have rugby league players before the courts almost every week? Why is it that this happens every week in rugby league but it doesn't in AFL?
Maybe Melbourne's better at hiding things, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, maybe they leave their phones at home. Maybe they learnt that lesson. Maybe they get told, no smartphones, boys. Use an old Nokia. You're not going to break it. It won't cost much to fix when you drop it when you're blind, and you certainly can't film yourself doing something dumb. I think this is where that wonderfully vague charge of bringing the game into disrepute pops up. That's a great catch-all. And even if you've done nothing wrong per se, if you are caught in a compromising position, filmed by the boys, as Hugh calls it, doing something silly and then it makes it into the public domain, you're guilty of bringing the game into disrepute. Equally as such, you can still be a victim. There's an argument that Dylan Napa is a victim in this and that someone's revenge porning him. So, look, I don't envy his position, but we appreciate your call, Hugh. The open line number 13 12 83.
I just must never have been a member of the boys.
Nick says at West Pennant Hills, Piggy, just so you know, when Levy said he's getting you a thesaurus, you're not getting a dinosaur.
Breakfast with Mark Levy and Mark Riddell.
That's very good.
Back Monday on Macquarie Sports Radio.
We all know the feeling of walking into an event and thinking, wow, this is something only great styling can achieve. If you've got a vision for your ultimate theme party, corporate event, theatre production or wedding, and you want to evoke that same feeling, there is one place to turn, and that is Sydney Props. Whether it's a full pirate-themed 30th, a masquerade Christmas party, or styling for your big wedding day, Sydney Props have the largest collection of props in the country. There are thousands of unique pieces, backdrops, furniture, lighting, staging equipment and more. And if Sydney Props don't have it, they'll get it or make it themselves. Located in Marrickville with options for all budgets and imaginations, see the whole amazing range at sydneyprops.com.au. Bring your next event to life with Sydney Props, the event styling experts. Have a look at the website, sydneyprops.com.au.
Infinity Centre Castle Hill is Australia's largest infinity centre, where luxury meets performance.
Don't settle for ordinary. Take performance to the next level with Infinity's Q50 and Q60 range. Go online to book your test drive today or give the team a call. Infinity's 2018 plate clearance. You'll need to be quick before they all run out.
Infinity Centre Castle Hill, a great team at Victoria Avenue, where luxury meets performance.
Terms and conditions apply. DL 035681.
Celebrate Australia Day with the best Aussie seafood from Sydney Fish Market. Grab everything you need for that perfect backyard barbie, or stay for lunch with live music along the boardwalk from midday. You can even join the Sydney Seafood School's hands-on Great Aussie Barbie class and learn to cook prawns, tuna and octopus better than ever. To find out more, head to sydneyfishmarket.com.au. There's no better Australia Day feast than fresh, delicious seafood from Sydney Fish Market. Open 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sydney Fish Market, Australia's home of seafood.
At Kids First, their aim is to make kids' lives better. Here's Kids First CEO, Aileen Ashford.
Kids First operates the Orange Door Support and Safety Hub. The Hub is a fantastic resource for women, children and young people experiencing family violence or families who need assistance with the care and well-being of their children.
We are Kids First. Because kids are at the heart of everything we do.
Find out more at kidsfirstaustralia.org.au.
The Big Bash is on Macquarie Sports Radio. Hear every single game, live and free wherever you are, on air, online and through the app.
Coming up in about 10 minutes' time, live coverage of Macquarie Sports Radio's one-day cricket series, Australia versus India. The second match between Australia and India, live from the Adelaide Oval. The toss has just been conducted. We've won the toss. We don't have a great record winning tosses, or certainly Tim Payne doesn't at the test level, but Aaron Finch has just won the toss. Julia Price covering all the action for us today. We're going to bat first, Julia.
Yeah, great. It looks beautiful here at the Adelaide Oval. The deck looks amazing, and absolutely have a bat. They batted so well first the other night, so I think they're looking to put a big total on and put the pressure back on India.
Pretty unusual circumstances to be at the Adelaide Oval and choose not to bat first, right, Jules?
Well, exactly. It's always been a belter here, and it's beautiful, so why not get out there and enjoy the best of the conditions?
And the team Australia are taking into this game, is it unchanged from the first ODI?
I actually haven't seen the team. I'm assuming it is. The only change that maybe happened, maybe Zampa coming in for Lyon, but I can't see them changing a winning team at this stage. They're pretty happy with just having a win, I think.
Yeah, we've just had confirmation the team is unchanged, so Mitchell Marsh has missed out. Is that a bit is it a bit tough for Mitchell Marsh, because he obviously was battling a bit of illness before the first game?
Yeah, it is, but I suppose that's what happens when you miss out. When you miss out on a game, you've got plenty of other people who've actually stood up in this game. And it's good to see that we've got so many people competing. So I think they'd just be happy with that at the moment, and Mitch Marsh can just probably wait his turn now for a while.
Great batting deck at the Adelaide Oval. The conditions are hot, but otherwise pretty decent. What would you expect par to be for the Australians?
Oh, I think they've got to go that probably pretty much 300, I would assume, and probably it's going to break up a little bit with this heat and be a little bit turny by the end of it, which might help the Australians a little bit against the Indians. They probably don't want to face them as second innings if they were batting second.
Very hot conditions. It's funny when you say pars. Not funny, but the way the game's changed, 300 is now par. I remember growing up, Julia, 200 was par.
Oh, I was thinking 180, I know. Yeah. See, if you got one for 24 off your 10, it was like, yeah, okay, that's standard.
Do you reckon that's because, the bats are so much better now, the rope has brought the boundary in, and just the way players play because of 2020?
Yeah, I think it's revolutionised cricket generally, and I think that's potentially a little bit of the problem with Test cricket, but also it could be exciting for Test cricket. So, I mean, where they're playing way more shots, you've got people playing reverse sweeps, which would have been laughed at years ago if they were doing that in Test cricket, and having people being reckless if they do those sort of things. So I think
my dad would have grounded me for a reverse sweep.
Exactly. So I think it's really exciting for one-day cricket, because everyone sort of says, oh, that's the one that's dying in between them. But I love one-day cricket with the ebbs and flows and the different sort of styles of way batsmen come out and score their runs. So I find it exciting.
Yep, I do too. It's still a great format where batsmen can build on innings and a bowling attack can threaten a team early. Julia, we've assembled the best commentary team in the country for this series, and we look forward to hearing you and your colleagues after 2 o'clock here on Macquarie Sports Radio.
No worries. Thanks for that.
There we are. That's Julia Price, former Australian cricketer, coming to us live from the Adelaide Oval, where Australia has won the toss. We have elected to bat, so it will be Australia batting, India bowling in sweltering South Australian heat.
Are you the one in your family who looks out for mum and dad? Now's a good time to think about the paperwork you might need when they can't easily look after themselves. It's worthwhile planning ahead and visiting agecare101.com.au. There are 2 documents you need to have in place: a power of attorney so you can sign documents for your mum or dad, including dealing with money, and an enduring guardianship which allows you to support them with medical decisions and more. It's all explained for you at this website, agedcare101.com.au. The website has all the tips and shortcuts you need for home care and aged care, and it makes it simple and easy. So start planning early. Check out powers of attorney and enduring guardianships. Aged care events can happen fast and when you least expect it. Educate yourself at agedcare101.com.au. It's your 101 for aged care.
Sidestep. Bang. Lines them up. Crash. Beautifully done. Wallop. Goal. Try.
All sports, all the time. Macquarie Sports Radio.
Action's hotting up at the Australian Open, Sam.
Yeah, we are in a third set tiebreaker between the Aussie Aya Tomiljanovic and the British opponent Johanna Konta. Tomiljanovic has just taken a 6-4 lead in the tiebreaker, and for a moment I thought that means she has the game wrapped up, but I forgot that for the Australian Open now it's first to 10 in the tiebreaker, so still a handful more points points for Aya before she wins this match, but looks like she's in the box set at the moment, and if can keep her composure, we'll have this opening round match against former semi-finalist Johanna Konta in the bag.
Let's squeeze in another call before we cross to the cricket in Adelaide Oval. G'day, Mitch.
G'day, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good, mate. Look, I think Napa's been a little bit unlucky. I mean, that sort of stuff goes on, and everyone's sort of houses every night. But, there's the Corey Norman, that, mate. Like, honestly.
And bear in mind, with the Corey Norman example, that video's been around for a few years and actually has been dealt with by the NRL Integrity Unit.
Yeah, that's what I read this morning. Well, you know what? I've got an idea. Why don't these blokes, jump on a shovel for a week for $20 an hour and dig some holes and actually see what it's like when, you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go work for 10 hours a day.
Mitch, the club with the best culture in the game is the Melbourne Storm. And Craig Bellamy insists when any player joins that club, doesn't care who it is, they do exactly that. In the off-season, they spend at least a few weeks working as a tradie, on the shovel as a labourer, and it works. It works. And good on you, Mitch. I'm sorry to our other callers. We're not going to get time to get to you today. We've been absolutely blitzed with your comments on this issue.
Yeah, quick tennis update before the news and then before the cricket. Serena Williams, well, this will come as no surprise. She defeated German opponent Tatiana Maria 6-love, 6-2. It's now 6-all in the tiebreaker between Aya Tomilanovic and Johanna Konta. Still a bit to go there, but you've got to get behind Aussie Aya.
We'll bring the result to you in the news. Coming up next, our coverage of the One Day International between Australia and India, live from the Adelaide Oval with the best commentary team in the business. Sammy, we'll do it all again tomorrow.
See you then.
The Big Bash is on Macquarie Sports Radio. Hear every single game, live and free wherever you are, on air, online and through the app.
Welcome to Storage King. How can I help? I run a small business from home and it's going great. I'm making a small fortune. So, what's the problem? Every room in the house is full of stock and I'm sleeping in the bathtub. No problem. Storage King is the perfect solution.
It's now 6...
businesses that need to store stock, equipment, documents, you name it.
Storage King, the kings of storage, moving and more. Store this January and receive 1 month storage free. Conditions apply. Visit storageking.com.au.
Australia's afternoon obsession is the chase. Can you beat the beast?
The two things in the world I love crunching the most. Numbers and contestants.
Outsmart the super nerd.
Think I can't catch them?
Bring down Goliath.
It's gonna get hairy.
Crush the governess.
There's no greater love than winning.
Or catch the shark.
Bring it on.
Challenge yourself with the Chase Australia. 5 o'clock weeknights on 7.
You might find Australia Day in a neighbourly way. Maybe it's when you get everyone together. How about welcoming someone new? Or doing something you love? Do you find it by enjoying the familiar? Is yours a whole new rhythm? Maybe it's found in the world around you. Or is it where you've been all along? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, find your Australia Day.
The festive season, summer, friends are coming over for a barbie and you're stocked up with the best. Watervale beef. The tastiest, most consistent beef in Australia. Supplied to your butcher by Breakout River Meats. Thick, juicy and tender. Watervale beef. Your barbecue or oven will love you for it. Your mates will love you even more. Watervale beef by Breakout River Meats. Ask for it at your meeting place.
Bickford's Iced Coffee Syrup. Made in Australia by Australians since 1919. The original iced coffee. With 99 years experience, you can taste tradition in every drop. Bickford's Iced Coffee, the versatile all-rounder. A perfect partnership with white milk, or you can even create ideal day-night conditions with a quick and easy espresso martini. There's no excuse for a poor shot, so hit summer for 6 with Bickford's Iced Coffee. 99 not out. Available in supermarkets nationally.
Macquarie National News is next.
If you pass left, spread it right, bowl and over, or kick it up and under, this is the sporting ground for you.
Macquarie Sports Radio.
All sports, all the time.
22, good afternoon, I'm Helene Lambert-Soss. Residents of Sydney's Opal Tower say they're not living the Australian dream, they're living an Australian nightmare. The state government's issued a preliminary report which has found there's major damage at the high-rise apartment block on floors 10 and 4 that needs significant rectification works. They've also contradicted advice from the builder that residents can return to their homes at Sydney's Olympic Park. Chair of Opal Tower's body corporate Shady Eskander says residents won't return until they have an ironclad guarantee the building is safe for occupation.
And we do not want to move in to a site which is being restructured and works are being done until it is fully rectified and fully complete, and engineers have said on letterhead it is safe for reoccupation. As I have been saying, the tree is not going to fall, but the branches are cracking.
The state government's drastically revised down the number of fish thought to have died near the Victorian border. Regional Water Minister Niall Blair this morning suggested 1,800 fish had been found dead in Lake Hume a week after a mass fish death in the state's far west saw about 1 million fish die. The Department of Primary Industries says just 60 fish have died this morning, and it's unrelated to the issues at Menindee. A man charged with raping a young girl in Sydney's south is now also accused of making dozens of threatening calls over months. Police reporter Alice Hogg.
55-year-old Anthony Sampieri remains in custody at Silverwater since being arrested over the alleged attack on a 7-year-old in the toilet of a Cogra dance studio. Sampieri is now before the courts over another matter. He's been charged with 87 counts of using a carriage service to menace or harass. Police say he made dozens of offensive phone calls to the same number between August and November. The last of those calls allegedly occurred in the hours before the assault. The new charges have been mentioned in court, but Sampieri did not appear. All his matters will be re-mentioned next week. At Sutherland Local Court, Alice Hogg, Macquarie National News.
A boat is on fire on the northern end of Watson's Bay, billowing thick, dark smoke into the air. It's believed 4 people have been rescued from the vessel. Firefighters are helping maritime services bring the blaze under control, but the boat has sustained significant damage. Emergency services are on high alert as hot weather sweeps across the city and the state. Penrith is climbing towards a top of 40 degrees, with maximums above 40 forecast until Sunday. Areas of the state's west will get as high as 47 degrees. Police Deputy Commissioner Jeff Loy has told Macquarie Radio it's not just in the middle of the day when people need to make sure they're staying cool and hydrated.
But also the overnight heat of some temperatures remaining around the 30 degrees overnight, which is going to cause a lot of discomfort and even danger to the public.
And the New South Wales coroner will on Tuesday begin the process of looking into the deaths of 5 people at music festivals. To finance the All Ords trading down 25 points at 58.58, $1 Australian dollar buying 72.11 US cents.
A Macquarie Sports Update.
Day 2 at the Australian Open hasn't been as kind to the locals than the opening day, with Ajla Tomljanovic just going down in a third-set tiebreaker with Joanna Konta. Destiny Iava has already been knocked out in straight sets, while Alex Bolt has lost his opening set to American Jack Sock. Serena Williams advanced in impressive fashion with a routine win in straight sets. Socceroos skipper Mark Milligan is expected to return to the heart of defence in the final Asian Cup group match. Morning will see Australia through to the knockout stage in the UAE. Coach Graham Arnold says while it's likely to be Milligan, there's plenty of players who could cover Trent Sainsbury's absence.
Milligan had a great World Cup at left centre-back. We've got 22, 23 top players. It's an environment of competition for places, which creates a great environment.
Australia has won the toss and will bat first in this afternoon's second one-day against India at Adelaide Oval, and riders in the Tour Down Under are facing temperatures in excess of 40 degrees today during the opening stage through the Adelaide Hills. That's sport. I'm Mike Pearsall.
2:04. This is Macquarie National News.
This new year, return to a world where anything is possible with Mary Poppins, starring Emily Blunt as the practically perfect nanny. Disney's Mary Poppins returns in cinemas now.
Cricket great Ian Chappell talks about his new Spinalese pillow.
This is the best pillow I've used in all my days of travel around the world. Sport takes a toll on your body, and I found I was waking up feeling sore and tired. Now I can honestly say it's the best pillow I've used, and I can recommend you give it a go.
For a good night's sleep, buy a Spinalese pillow. Call 1300 886 345 or buy online at spinalese.com.au. That's spinaleze.com.au.
Cruise New Zealand for 13 nights from just $1,999 per person. Enjoy 3 for free with Princess Cruises. Receive free onboard spending money, a free stateroom location upgrade, plus a free wine and dine voucher for 2 when you book before February 28. Uncover the wonders of Japan, the glaciers in Alaska, or the majestic fjords in New Zealand. Enjoy Stone or unique shore excursions with their team of local connections. See your travel agent or simply go to princess.com.
Macquarie Sports Radio's Sydney Traffic.
This is Darren Lehman. Hear the Summer of Cricket live and free at sportsradio.com.au.
Kia's open season is now on, serving up match-winning deals across the Kia range. Plus, every new Kia comes with Australia's best 7-year factory warranty. See a Kia dealer today. Kawana trucks broken down on the M1 Pacific approaching Hawkesbury River Bridge. 1 of 3 northbound lanes is closed. That's lane 1. And Ermington, a 2-car accident. Water Road and Victoria Road, 2 of 3 northbound lanes are closed. That's lanes 2 and lanes 3. Royal Caribbean's one big sale is on. Get up to 50%. Plus up to $1,200 to spend at sea. Hurry, the offer ends Wednesday. Conditions apply. Ian McRae, Macquarie Sports Radio 954.
Weather on Macquarie Sports Radio.
Mostly sunny this afternoon with winds of up to 40 kilometres an hour, tops of 30 in the city, 40 in the west. Sunshine tomorrow, mostly sunny Thursday, sunny on Friday, the chance of a shower Saturday. Right now in town it's 28 degrees, 33 at Bankstown, 34 Campbelltown, 31 Gosford, 32 Lucas Heights, 35 degrees in Penrith. I'm Helene Lambetsos on Macquarie Sports Radio Sydney 954.
Driven hard, catch, run out,
Across Australia, through the Macquarie Sports Radio Network. This is the Summer of Cricket. Live from Adelaide Oval, the second Gillette One Day International. Australia versus India. And now, the Macquarie Sports Radio commentary team.
And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Adelaide and match 2 in the Gillette ODI series between Australia and India. Tim Lane with you, John Embry and Julia Price to join me in just a moment. As you may have already heard via previews and news bulletins, Australia has won a second straight toss in this tournament. So Aaron Finch having slightly better luck than Tim Payne had in the Test series, where he won just 1 out of 4. And once again, Australia will bat first, as the home team did in Sydney, and it used that advantage effectively, racking up 288 for 5 and then limiting India to 9 for 254 for a 34-run win. So first blood to Australia in this series. We're going to have a full day and night of cricket, barring batting collapses, because the weather is fine and very hot at the Adelaide Oval. The crowd looks as though it is going to build rather slowly, but I'm sure there'll be plenty in for the evening session. It's a bit of a sprinkle around the ground in the early part, and the extremely hot weather with the forecast for temperatures into the low 40s is perhaps keeping some away. So Australia winning the toss and batting. No change to the Australian lineup. India have made one change. It's to their seam bowling lineup. KK Ahmed, who played in Sydney, will be an onlooker here, and Mohammad Siraj, 24-year-old right-arm medium-fast bowler, comes in for his ODI debut. He's played 3 T20 internationals, but this will be his first game for his country in the 50-over format. So the stage set, the stakes are high here. Australia, having lost its last 5 ODI series in this country, has a real chance now against the world-ranked number 2 Indians. Very proud of their ability in the short forms of the game, and of course very practiced in these forms of the game. The pitch looks a belter, but we'll hear about that from our experts, Julia Price and John Embry. Carl Rackerman coming in to join you later on, as will be Bruce Eva. Embers and Julia, welcome to Adelaide.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful day here. It's not a little hot, but we've got the window open. Let the breeze in.
Julia, Tim, listeners, good afternoon. And, well, it's a lovely day for it. I'm not too sure if you're a POM you'd want to be out there fielding in these conditions. But I don't think that would do the Australians any harm or the Indian team any harm.
Well, Australia with a poor record of late in this form of the game, and as continues to be a part of the conversation around this series, there is a World Cup coming up. Australia and India, I think, have won every World Cup now going back to 1999. So at the highest level of this form of the game, they have been the dominant countries. They've probably got to improve a bit on their form of late. Certainly India seemed off the boil in Sydney. Do we put that down to perhaps a little bit of a Test series win hangover, and perhaps there'll be a rebound factor today in Adelaide?
I would absolutely say there's going to be a rebound factor. This team's very competitive, and they've got leaders in their team like Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni who refuse to lie down. So they'll be wanting to fly the flag for their country and absolutely get them on the winning side of the toss today.
Yeah, they would have been upset that they lost early wickets in Sydney, particularly Kohli, Rayudu and Dhawan, who didn't contribute at all. If India can get a contribution from them, they have very, very good strike rates in one-day cricket, and they have the belief that they can chase anything down India. They probably don't have the depth in batting that they've had in the past, and I think that is one weakness. I think the one-day game is changing. I think Australia are slowly going that way in terms of having a little bit more depth in batting. I was very impressed with the way Richardson and Behrendorff bowled. Richardson in particular, I know he got the wickets, but I was very impressed in where he bowled the ball, length and line, got the ball in good areas, and the Indian batsman found it very, very difficult to score off him. He's not slow, he's onto the bat, and early on he had a nice shape on the ball and got it to swing away. So very impressed with him. I'm going to jump on a bandwagon and join you, Shane Warnes and Mark Wars and whatever, and just be a little bit critical that I think the Australians got to towards the end of their innings in terms of getting Glenn Maxwell up the order. England do it with Josh Buttler. He can go from 7 to 3, 4, depending on what the match situation is. Maxwell's got the best strike rate in 50 over cricket than anyone on either side here, whether India, Australia, and near enough around the world. And you've got to maximise that. You can't just have him coming in for 5 balls and scoring 11 runs at the an innings, because he's probably one of the most dangerous players in the world, and he's got to have a little bit more time at the crease. And I'm going to reiterate what other people have said. Australia 260, 280s are no good nowadays. You've got to be getting in the 300s.
The openers for Australia, according to the scoreboard, will again be Carey and Finch. Your thinking, Julia, as expressed in a highly confidential conversation we had over a cup of coffee at Melbourne Airport, is that Maxwell could well be used very high in the batting order. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But on what John was saying as well, his average at 5 is 33.87. At 6, it's 29.23. But at 7, it's 49.5. So his ability to be able to move around and to be able to be flexible, I think, is very, very important. And particularly the T20 game has really made that, push that into one-day cricket now. But I believe he could also either open the batting or come in at 3, just to try and get some sort of momentum with the team. Obviously, Finch a little bit out of sorts at the moment, despite him getting 40 odd the other day in BBL, which is probably easier to compare than Sheffield Shield or JLT that happened 3 months ago. So I believe he could bat up the order quite easily.
This one doesn't want to be alarmist about Aaron Finch, but things tend to compound, and the forms of the game tend to come together in the collective thinking of the community, which gets expressed through newspaper headlines and so on. And I can imagine that another failure here, and as captain of the team, the pressure on him grows at the top of the order.
I think someone's got to grasp it. Coming from overseas, I see selectors, chairman of selectors, I see a coach, and I see a captain, and I don't know who's in charge of the team. On the field, obviously it's Finch. Off the field, it could be Langer. I don't know. I'd like to see.
Doesn't every team have that tension in its background preparation?
Absolutely not. England, who are number one day side in the world, and it's taken a while to get there, and it's taken the current captain Owen Morgan to change the way that England play, their philosophy.
So he runs it.
Of selectors, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes with Ed Smith. But the coach is quite happy, Owen, having control of the players that he wants in the side. He gets them to play the way that he wants them to play. He wants players that have good strike rates, and he wants, with strike rates, is going to get them over 300. And if a couple come off, then England are going to score big 300s, as they have done in the past.
For a second there, I was worried, Julia, that the Poms had come up with the winning template, but they borrowed it from an Irishman.
And a good one at that. I just put some down. I mean, I know it's England and India, but just Jason Roy averaging 37, strike rate 104. Howes 37, strike rate 95. Root 51, strike rate of 86. Butler averaging 39, strike rate 116. Moeen Ali averaging 26, but strike rate 104, coming at 7 and 8. And you got Stokes averaging 36 and strike rate of 94 balls. All of those guys are averaging well into their 30s. Root 50, but the majority of them are over 100 runs per over, or very, very near it. And that's where the sides have got to go nowadays if they're going to compete with England. And I think England are flat track bullies. I think particularly in England, everyone says, well, England will be favourites. I think if a pitch does a little bit, I reckon they'll get knocked over.
That's more like it, Embers. We look forward to seeing that one come through. The ODI experts are brought to you by Specsavers, official eye care and eyewear partner of the Australian cricket team. Book an eye test online today. And our ODI experts here in Adelaide are Julia Price, John Embry and Carl Rackerman. I'm Tim Bruce Eva will be calling the action with me. The black-clad umpires looking like a couple of wild western gunslingers come striding towards the middle. Fancy being dressed like that on a day like this. Fortunately, they have wide-brimmed hats, but that's the ICC uniform for this white ball form of the game. And the umpires are Richard Kettleborough, who did the upstairs job in Sydney and just about the most highly ranked and respected umpire in the game now. And Sam Nagayski, the Australian umpire, standing out in the middle. Michael Goff, Kettleborough, for the third umpire for this game. So just repeating the news in brief, that Australia has won the toss, chosen to bat. The openers are striding to the middle with the Indian team. I've got them on the brain, Embers, coming out adjacent to them. And the Australian openers are Aaron Finch, the captain of the team, and Alex Carey, the wicket-keeper, who is making such a rapid rise and wearing national colours in the short form now on a regular basis. The pitch looks a beauty. I think you both agree. Slightly favouring the eastern side of the ground, so on this Adelaide Oval with shorter square boundaries than most, that'll be a pretty attractive hitting area over to the eastern side.
Yeah, so very much the bowlers, the fielding side, be very aware of that. They would look to get the right bowlers on the right hand, taking the ball away from the southern end of the ground, which is the scoreboard end of the ground, and they would be looking to bowl a line a little bit on off, but width to the left-hander, just protecting that shorter leg side boundary, and the opposite will be of the bowling from the main stand end, the river end.
It's going to be Carey taking strike for the first ball of the match. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar will bowl the opening over from the northern end of the ground with the fig trees behind him, and away to his left, the stately spire of St Peter's. Stands tall, and with the sun high in the sky, doesn't cast much of a shadow. Just the one slip. Rohit Sharma is that man. There are 6 men on the offside. The one out is down at third man, quite fine. And then 4 up in a little arc from backward point. Kohli, the skipper, to a man just in front of square, then extra cover mid-off on the onside. Long leg, forward square leg, and mid-on as The umpire at the bowler's end just holds up proceedings for a moment, and now Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's in, and Carey scores from the very first ball, which is just short of a length, conveniently on his hip, and is tucked away effortlessly for a single. So Australia batting first away, and Finch is to the striker's end.
Well, with the field that they've got set, it's quite obvious he's going to try and bowl as straight as possible outside off stump, as you're mentioning, to take into account they've got the slip for the left-hander, and obviously they've got a bit of protection on the leg side and deep third man, and a very similar field for Finch as well. Finch getting cleaned up by Kumar the other night, bowled, nice little off cutter, took off his off stump bail. Don't know if you'll get that movement as much here at Adelaide.
No, well, Kumar brings the ball into the right hand, so he's just strengthened that side of the field with the extra fielder.
It's a short mid-wicket. He's in and he bowls to Finch, who's hurrying his shot. He was pushing across the line. Ball hit him on the pad. They've taken a single, and umpire Kettleborough at the bowler's end indicates it is a leg by. And the umpires in their black outfits will be dreading this. The right and left-hander scoring singles on a regular basis, and umpire Nagaski again has to make the trek from one side of the ground to the other as he stands at square leg for each batsman. Probably make fairly good sense just to stand in the same spot and be at point, you would think. Kumar's in and bowls to Carey, who's squared up. He runs it off an open face into the gully, not through, and there's no run.
Or potentially not put your umpires in black. That could be the other option. We've got one from Hobart and one from England, so they're both going to be struggling today in black at 41 degrees.
A little bit surprised. Kohli's gone a little bit conservative. I'd like to see two slips in there to Carey, because Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, he sort of swings that ball across the left-hander towards the slips, but he's gone for one extra fielder on the one.
Kumar to Carey, who drops it at his feet. They think about a single, but the keeper, Dhoni, not the fastest, but he was closing rapidly, and the batsman wisely chose not to tempt fate.
But more concerned, I think, in stopping runs and stopping singles, as opposed to looking for those early wickets. And there just is, looking at the replay there, just a slight bit of movement, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar bowling just back of a length.
And it's a pretty tidy opening over, just the one run off the bat. He comes in and bowls, and Carey is running it into the gully, but straight to the fieldsman there, and there is no run, so 5 balls down and just the one run on the board, and Kumar is making a good start for India. It will be fascinating to watch the contrast between this performance and what India produced in Sydney, where they were never really in the game when it came their turn to bat and chase 289 for victory. Kumar in and bowls, and Carey off the thick inside edge will score a single. He'll have a look over his shoulder and see if there's any chance of a second. There's not. He'll keep the strike. He has the only 2 runs off the bat. There was a leg by as well, and in the opening over 3 runs were scored. Flicks a vital scoreboard. Australia 3 without loss.
If you'd like to catch all the action of Super Bowl 53 in style, Luna Park Sydney is putting on Luna Bowl 3, Monday, Feb 4. And Macquarie Sports Radio has 10 double passes to give away. Watch the game on the big screens and enjoy a 4-hour beverage package, all-American buffet platters and more. Plus, get into the Super Bowl 53 spirit with a pre-game sailgate party around the harbour. Touchdown at Luna Bowl 3 by entering your details now.